Hey guys, today we're going to go over filling out the COVAX templates. There are two main templates. One is for the users, which basically is the template used for uploading staff who will be accessing COVAX. The other is for clients, and that is basically uploading a listing of the clients who will be attending your vaccination event or clinic. So let's get started here. I'm going to share my desktop. And we'll start with the user template. This usually is the first one that's required because we need to get your staff into the COVAX system. So there is a naming convention here, and it is basically using the same format here. So user underscore your organization underscore your name underscore the date. That's how they got to be named. Upon opening it, give it a second. You'll see this little warning at the top. Just say enable content because, or content rather. And it says again, another pop-up. You can continue without updating their values, but we will continue. And I'm going to say yes. So always start with the instruction tab. This gives you kind of the rules inside of this workbook. There's the naming convention that I just went over for naming the template. And then you'll see a bunch of the tabs at the bottom here. There is the instructions tab, which tells you exactly how to kind of go about using this template. Ignore line 6 though. For now, we're having these templates emailed to me at fpayuga@wechu.org. Those are going to be in some instructions. I'm sure that will be sent to you. The data elements tab goes through kind of what each column is in this workbook. So a couple things, the things in red are mandatory in this template. So we need first name and last name. We need you to pick a profile. Now for the profile, you can only choose COVAX site staff and COVAX vaccinator So you're going to be one of these two for each of the staff. The other roles are designated for health unit staff for now. Email needed. You can't use like a personal email like Hotmail or Gmail or something like that. It needs to be the institution's email address. And then the AO or authorized organization, the organization which is sponsoring the user for access to COVAX. That is the health unit in this case. So I'll show you how to fill that out. We'll go to the defaults tab, and here is where you're going to type in Windsor-Essex County Health Unit as your authorizing organization. Okay, and what does that do? Well, when you go to the users tab, it'll actually start filling out, sorry, I had pre-populated this, but it will fill out this whole column with the appropriate authorizing organization. Okay. The next few things I'll go over in detail here, how to fill out. So last name, your staff's last name, obviously, your staff's first name, their not personal email address, the institution email. Okay. Authorizing organization, of course, is filled in by the default. Do they have an existing COVAX account? So why is this question being asked? Well, if you work at the hospital but you're doing work for the health unit, you would keep your hospital account for your hospital work. Let's say you're doing inpatient work and you're vaccinating there. And then you're doing some work for the health unit. Okay, so you would say that you already have an account here in COVAX. Most people right now do not, so I'm going to clear that field. You do need a phone number, and the phone number is going to be used for what they call two-factor authentication. In other words, every time you log into COVAX, it's going to prompt you on your device, your cell phone, to approve that login. It's two-factor authentication, multi-factor authentication that really secures the system from unauthorized access. Okay. There is this validate field that basically goes through and checks to see if everything's been filled out appropriately. So when you're done, you're basically gonna make sure it looks something like this. You don't need to worry about too many fields in this particular template. When you're done, make sure it's named correctly here, and then send it over to me at fbayuga@wechu.org. Okay, so that's the user template. Now let's look at the client template. The client template's a little bit more involved, and I'm not sure what system you're exporting that data from or copying it from, but just make sure you copy it into this template and you're not overwriting any columns and you're not deleting any columns. Again, I open it up, enable content, and then this pop-up comes up, just says the file is on a network location of the users might have access. Okay, I'm going to say OK. And again, start with the instructions tab. There is also a naming convention for this file. So it's going to be now clients instead of users, underscore your organization name, underscore your name, underscore year, month, day. Okay? You're going to review the data elements here if you want to know kind of exactly what each column is asking for. It is the 10-digit Ontario health card number. We do not need the version code. Gender needs to be filled out, first and last name, and even though it's not highlighted here, birth date is needed, and also vaccination event is needed. The vaccination event ID is something that the health unit is creating on behalf of you for your event. So if you don't have that, you need to contact the health unit before you can complete your client load template. Okay, so let's pretend you get that number and you pop it in here. When I hit my client list, I've already populated it with some just random names. These aren't real people, but the vaccination event ID is filled in by default when you click on this tab and you enter it here. Okay? The rest of the information, it's up to you to populate. And so take your time with this. You need your client's last name, your client's first name, their birth date in this format only. Year, month, day, with dashes in between. Okay, see that? Male, female, non-binary, third gender, other. These are the options here for gender. And then for this population right now, which is the 70 plus, 80 plus, we're choosing the advanced age community dwelling. Okay, and then you can copy that all the way down. And then the 10-digit health card number. These are fake health card numbers, of course. And then lastly, the vaccination event ID. So once you have all those fields filled in, you can safely send them to the health unit. Send them to me at fbayuga@wechu.org. That should be in some other instructions, but that is it. Thanks, guys.